Thank you for that warm welcome to Congressman Scott Taylor, to Speaker Kirk Cox, Senate Majority Leader Tommy Norment, state senators, delegates, candidates, my fellow Republicans, Virginians gathered here. It is great to be back in the Old Dominion state. Thank you all for coming out on a Saturday afternoon. I just landed at Naval Air Station Oceana. Navy's whole East Coast master jet base, home to F-18 Hornets, Super Hornets, and frankly, some of the finest naval aviators in the world. How proud are you? It's always great to be here in Virginia, but I want to tell you folks, I'm here for one reason and one reason only. And that is that Virginia and America need you to get out to the polls this Tuesday, November 5th, and vote to re-elect Republican majorities to the Virginia Senate and the Virginia House of Delegates. Will you do it? It really is great to be here with so many friends. And here in beautiful Virginia Beach. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you for coming out, for your warmth. And before I get started, allow me to bring greetings from another friend of mine. And I can honestly tell you, when I was talking to him this morning, told him I was headed to Virginia Beach, I think he sounded just a little bit jealous. So allow me to bring greetings from a man who loves the state of Virginia and has been fighting to keep the promises that he made to the people of this great state. I bring greetings from the 45th President of the United States of America, President Donald Trump. Isn't he something? I mean, think about it. With the confidence that so many of you here and people all across this country placed in this president 3 years ago, in just 3 short years, thanks to President Donald Trump's leadership, we've rebuilt our military. The American economy is booming. We've cut illegal immigration at our southern border in half in the last 4 months. And last weekend, 1 week ago today, thanks to the courage of our armed forces and the decisive leadership of our commander-in-chief, the United States brought the world's #1 terrorist leader to justice. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the leader of ISIS, is dead. What a great job. I'll tell you what, sitting next to the President of the United States in the Situation Room, watching in real time as United States Special Forces descended on that compound in Idlib province. I've never been prouder to be an American. And because of what they did, America and the world are safer. The truth of the matter, this president's leadership has made a difference for America. Jobs are back. Confidence is back. In a word, America is back, but we're just getting started, Virginia. That's why we need the people of Virginia to turn out this Tuesday and re-elect Republican majorities in the Virginia Senate and the House of Delegates. We got to do it. And after you get that done, a year from this November, we're going to need you to turn out again to give President Donald Trump 4 more years in the White House. Men and women, I'll tell you what, we've got an election this Tuesday that matters. And men, have you got some great candidates on the Republican ticket this coming Tuesday. And I'm really here to talk about these incredible men and women. I'm here to talk about the progress that we've all made together over the last 3 years with the great leadership you've had at the General Assembly. And I'm going to talk about the choice that Virginia faces this coming Tuesday. First off, Hampton Roads has some incredible candidates. I mean, think about it. You got Navy veterans like Senator Bill DeSteph and Delegate Chris Stolley. Give it up for them. You got a U.S. Marine and a deputy sheriff like Rocky Holcomb. You got an accomplished, successful small business owner like Shannon Kane on the ballot. And you already heard from him. You got the first Cuban American ever elected to the Virginia General Assembly, Jason Miyares. And here in the 7th Senate District, you have an extraordinary candidate on the Republican side. I was just talking to her. Man, is she impressive. Former Navy helicopter pilot. Twice deployed to the Persian Gulf. Proud graduate of Old Dominion University. Nurse practitioner. And she's going to be the next great senator from the 7th District of Virginia. Let's hear it for Jen Kiggins. Wow. I mean, we got more than a dozen other incredible candidates who are here today. And each one of them deserves your vote this coming Tuesday. By electing and re-electing this incredible Republican leadership, the Virginia Senate and the House of Delegates, we're going to deliver a great victory for the people of Virginia. We're going to do it. And when we re-elect Republican majorities in the General Assembly, we're going to set the stage for Virginia to vote to give President Donald Trump 4 more years in the White House. Those are the stakes. You know, I think there's only one way you can describe the last 3 years. It's been 3 years of action. It's been 3 years of results. It's been 3 years of promises made and promises kept. But we're just getting started, Virginia. I mean, think about it. With the strong support of our allies at the state level and in the Congress, we've been delivering on the promises that this president made to the people of Virginia. President Trump promised to rebuild our military and restore the arsenal of democracy. And after years of reckless budget cutbacks, President Donald Trump delivered. You know, it's the greatest honor of my life to serve as your vice president, and I want to thank you. I want to thank you for this. But honestly, it's not the highest title I'll ever hold, because the highest title I'll ever hold is DAD. And I'm the proud father of a United States Marine captain. And come this December, I'm going to be the proud father-in-law of a United States Navy lieutenant. Now, I say all of that in this town with such a great military tradition to tell you I couldn't be more proud to serve alongside a president who cares so deeply about the men and women of our armed forces and their families. Did you know that President Donald Trump has already signed the largest increase in our national defense since the days of Ronald Reagan? True. And that includes the largest pay raise for our armed forces in more than 10 years. And they deserve every penny. And as we stand just a short drive from the largest naval base in the world, I'm proud to say the U.S. Navy will now deploy the most advanced class of aircraft carriers in history. The President called for a 350-ship Navy, and we are on our way. Just in case you hadn't noticed it, under this President's leadership, Hampton Roads saw 3 additional vessels home ported here, and the largest naval installation in the world has grown by more than 25,000 families. Bottom line, under the leadership of this Commander-in-Chief, we're finally giving our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guard the resources, support, and training and equipment they need to accomplish their mission and defend this nation. And I promise you, we always will. And with that renewed American strength, we're standing with our allies, and we're standing up to our enemies. I'm proud to report our NATO allies are contributing more to our common defense than ever before. And as we just said, we've taken the fight to radical Islamic terrorists on our terms, on their soil. So America's safer, and America's more secure. But with the strong support of these Republican majorities in the State House, we've already gotten this economy moving as well. Remember, President Donald Trump promised to revive this economy. Under the last administration, we saw the most powerful economy in the history of the world never grow by more than 2%. With the strong support of all of you and our allies in Congress and at the state level, this president cut taxes across the board. We rolled back regulation. We unleashed American energy, and under President Donald Trump, the war on coal is over, and we're on the road to energy independence. And the results have been remarkable. 6.7 million new jobs created since Election Day 2016, including 128,000 jobs just last month. The unemployment rate is at a 50-year low, and the unemployment rate for African Americans and Hispanic Americans is the lowest level ever recorded. The American dream is working again for every American. And it isn't just our armed forces that got a pay raise. Since our Election Day 2016, the average American household has seen their disposable income go up by more than $5,000 a year. And that's real results. Wages are rising at the fastest pace in a decade, and I know what means most to the President and me. It's most meaningful is that wages are rising most rapidly for hard-working, blue-collar Americans. The forgotten men and women of America are forgotten no more. This economy's working. So it's been about our national security. It's been about prosperity. And I mean to tell you, these Republican majorities at the State House have been with us every step of the way, implementing the same policies for a safer and more prosperous Virginia. And closer to home with their strong support, I'm proud to say this president has stood strong for the men and women who stand on the thin blue line of law enforcement at every level. And with these Republican majorities, we've been giving the men and women of law enforcement the resources and respect that they deserve every single day. That includes all of us. In fact, you know, there's a lot of law enforcement here today. I tend to draw a crowd of But would you all just mind turning around or maybe catching the eye of one of these incredible law enforcement officers? Just show them how much you appreciate what they do every single day. Thank you so much. Thank you. So like all these great Republicans gathered here, this president's been standing strong. Standing strong with law enforcement, with our first responders, and that includes Customs and Border Protection and the men and women of ICE. And I'm telling you what, Republicans in the General Assembly in Virginia have stood strong with President Trump to end the crisis of illegal immigration at our southern border, and they've stood strong against sanctuary cities here in the great Commonwealth of Virginia. With their support and yours, we've made historic investments in border security. Mexico's doing more than ever before. And thanks to the courageous work of our CBP and ICE, over the last 4 months, apprehensions on our southern border are down by nearly 70%, and we've already started to build that wall on the southern border of the United States. Support the rule of law. You remember this president promised to appoint conservatives to our federal courts at every level. And President Donald Trump delivered. At this moment, President Trump has actually seen confirmed more than 150 conservatives to our federal courts who, like all these great Virginia Republicans, will uphold all the God-given liberties enshrined in our Constitution, like the freedom of religion, the freedom of speech, and the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. President Trump has stood strong for our God-given liberties enshrined in that Bill of Rights, and these Republicans in the General Assembly have been there every step of the way. It's made an incredible difference in the life of this nation. 150 judges to our federal courts. And that doesn't even count Justice Neil Gorsuch or Justice Brett Kavanaugh. So we're standing for the rule of law. We're standing for our constitutional liberties. But I got to tell you, I couldn't be more proud to be here today, to stand with Virginia Republicans and to serve as vice president to a president who stand without apology for the sanctity of human life. You know, at a time when Democrats like Governor Ralph Northam and Delegate Kathy Tran advocate late-term abortion and defend infanticide, I'll make you a promise. This president, this vice president, and these Virginia Republicans will always stand for the right to life. So in just 3 short years, America is winning again and Virginia is winning again. Under President Donald Trump's leadership, with these strong Republican allies in a majority in your General Assembly, we've made America great again. We've done it. But to keep America great, we've got work to do, men and women. And it all starts next Tuesday. It all starts next Tuesday when Virginia re-elects strong, conservative, Republican majorities to the Virginia Senate and the Virginia House of Delegates. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. And the choice couldn't be clearer, and the stakes couldn't be higher. I mean, it's extraordinary to think, as we stand here today, left-wing groups from outside the state of Virginia are literally pouring millions of dollars into General Assembly races like never before. I'm actually told that the other side's already spent more than $17 million just out-of-state spending. It's incredible. All out-of-state money flowing into Virginia to impact this election. The other side is motivated, and make no mistake about it. And their liberal allies around the country want to see Virginia's General Assembly flip to the other side. They'd like nothing more than to roll back the progress that we've made under the last 3 years under President Donald Trump. They're motivated because they know if they could take complete control of Virginia's state government, they could control redistricting in 2021 in this state. I mean, the race to re-elect this majority is going to come down to the wire. I know there's just a couple of seats that are going to decide the majority. And I'm here in Hampton Roads because it's especially going to come down to Hampton Roads. That's why I'm here. You all can be the difference. You can be the difference between a Republican majorities in your General Assembly that stand for and advocate all the same things that President Trump and I have been fighting for. Strong security, strong support for law enforcement, less taxes, less regulation, more energy independence for America, and standing up for the ideals and the values that make Virginia great. I mean, the truth is the Democratic Party today is dominated by left-wing radicals who want to raise taxes, grow government, and they support ideas like the Green New Deal and Medicare for all. I mean, it's amazing. You know, Medicare for all, means quality health care for none. And the only thing green about the Green New Deal is how much green it's going to cost all of us if they ever sign it into law. I mean, whether it's those big government ideas or sanctuary cities, free health care for illegal immigrants, it's incredible. I mean, I was watching one of those last debates, I kind of have to. I figure there's a vice presidential nominee in there somewhere. But I'm watching one of those, the last debate I watched, I mean, those people were standing so far over on the left, I thought that stage was going to tip over. But it's not just the policies, it's not just taxes and regulations and big government schemes. Truth is what Governor Northam said about abortion and infanticide and what Kathy Tran tried to push on the people of Virginia shocked the conscience of the nation. So you got a choice to make. You got a choice to make. You got a choice of whether or not you're going to have a majority in the General Assembly that stands strong on the conservative, common sense principles and values of the people of Virginia, or whether these outside groups take Virginia on a left-wing turn, your General Assembly. And you know what's even more remarkable about Democrats these days is that leading Democrats actually advocate an economic system that has impoverished millions for generations and robbed the liberties of people all over the world. That system is called socialism. I'm told there's actually several Democrat candidates for the House of Delegates who openly call themselves socialists. No surprise by that, when their leading candidates for president are advocating the same. I mean, those aren't the values that are synonymous with this state's proud history. I mean, Virginia is synonymous with freedom. And Virginians know it was freedom not socialism, that gave us the most prosperous and powerful nation in the history of the world. It was freedom. It was freedom, not socialism, that ended slavery, won 2 world wars, and stands today as a beacon of hope for all the world. I believe the moment America becomes a socialist country is the moment that America ceases to be America. So it's up to all of us to send a message coming this Tuesday, to stand firm and say with one voice what President Trump said in his State of the Union address: America will never be a socialist country. You okay? You okay? You okay? So the stakes have never been higher. And the choice has never been clearer. I mean, think about it, folks. And as I said before, this is not just about this election. I mean, the truth is, Democrats are motivated because they know if they take complete control of Virginia's government, the impact on this election next Tuesday could last a whole lot longer than the next 2 years. If Democrats take over your General Assembly, you can be sure they'll redraw those seats in the General Assembly. In redistricting that happens in 2021, it'll affect the content of your General Assembly for a decade. And I'm sure they'll also redraw the lines of your congressional delegation, so Virginia will send even more liberal Democrats to Capitol Hill. I mean, the truth is those are the stakes. And that's why they're playing here so strong. That's why they're competing here so strong. And that's why President Trump and I wanted the people of Virginia to know. We stand with the conservative majorities in the General Assembly, and the people of Virginia need to re-elect this great Republican team. So men and women of Virginia, we got some work to do. Here in Hampton Roads and all over Virginia, you got to decide right here, right now, that you're going to re-elect these great Republican majorities to the General Assembly. If you believe in less taxes, less regulation, more energy independence, and more jobs, then vote Republican. If you believe in freedom, in the rule of law, the right to keep and bear arms, and the right to life, vote Republican. And Virginia, if you want to send a message to Washington, D.C., that enough is enough, and that Virginia is tired of their endless investigations and partisan impeachment, if you want to send a message to the do-nothing Democrats that the people of Virginia and America support President Donald Trump, then vote Republican. So that's the opportunity before us. But I came here today to tell you it's going to take all of us to do it. Now, I believe it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough just to win the next election. We've also got to win the next generation. So I need you to do a couple of things. I need you to do a couple of things. Number one, vote Virginia and vote Republican in this Tuesday's General Assembly election. Okay? The polls open, I checked, the polls open at 6 a.m. on Tuesday, November 5th. They close at 7 p.m. You got all day. And remember, friends don't let friends vote alone. Grab a friend, grab a family member, go to the polls and vote Republican in this Tuesday's election. And number Number three, go tell somebody what we talked about here today. Go tell them about the principled conservative leadership that Republican majorities have provided in your General Assembly, in the Senate, and in the House of Delegates. The stands they've taken. The stands they've taken to create jobs, advance security. The stands they've taken for the values that make our community strong. You need to go tell somebody. You know, when I think back on Election Day 2016, I remember, you all remember, I can tell, in the days running up to the election, I don't think there was a poll anywhere that said we had a chance. But you know what? You know what? The president knew different, and so did I. You did too. And I think it was because we were traveling all across the country. I mean, he was holding rallies. You know, the last day before the election, he had 7 rallies. I think I had 4. He'd go north, I'd go south. He'd go east, I'd go west. I mean, he'd draw tens of thousands of people, and I would literally draw hundreds. But whatever the size of the crowd, he and I would talk at the end of the day, and I'll never forget, he'd say to me, "Man, what do you see?" And I'd say, "Mr. President, I keep seeing people everywhere, big cities and small towns, that know we can be strong again, know we can be prosperous again. And they hear your vision to make America great again." And the American people rallied to the cause. I just knew it. I'll never forget, it was our last rally. It was up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I actually was standing on stage when the clock ticked past midnight. True story. Ticked right past midnight, and I looked at this little Timex watch. And I said, "Welcome to the day when Donald Trump's going to become the 45th president of the United States." It happened. I looked at the watch. And I knew it. Anyways, so he flew in, he arrived, I spoke, and then he arrived about 12:30, and there it was. He came off the stage at about 1:30 in the morning. There's about 10,000, 20,000 people out in the crowd, and I'll never forget. He walked off the stage, the crowd was thundering. It was actually officially Election Day, 1:30 in the morning. He came off that stage, slapped me on the shoulder, and he said, "Mike, I don't know about you, but this doesn't look like second place." And thanks to all of you, it was first place. We made history. We made history because, I really do believe this, because you all proved that the most powerful media in America is not your network news, it's not your cable networks, it's not your local newspaper, it's not even your social media. The most powerful media is now and always has been word of mouth. When someone who knows you and respects you hears from you about an issue, a candidate, a cause that's important to their family, to this community, this state, and this nation. So I want you to go tell somebody. I mean, you've got all day Sunday left. You got tonight. You got Monday. Polls open 6 a.m. Just reach out to somebody. Send out an email. Call a friend. Stop somebody at work, at worship over this weekend or Monday, and just say, "You know, I ran into Mike the other day at the middle school. And he said it was absolutely vital for Virginia and America that we re-elect Republican majorities to the General Assembly." You go tell him that. Tell him I said it. Tell him I told you. I mean, tell them this is a group that knows how to create jobs, cut taxes, roll back regulation. Tell them this is a group that stood strong on security. Tell them this is a group that stood for their values and the values that make this country great. And the truth of the matter is, we've been making great progress in the life of this nation. But today, this coming Tuesday, here in Virginia, in governor's races in Kentucky and Mississippi come next week, the American people have an opportunity to essentially say that we're on the right path. America is stronger again. We're safer again. We're more prosperous again. And we want at every level of government the same kind of principled, common sense, conservative leadership that President Donald Trump has brought to the White House. That's the opportunity you have. So if you're taking notes, number one, vote with a friend, right? Tell somebody about these great candidates, these incredible people. Okay? And lastly, I would just say on a personal level, if from time to time you bow the head and bend the knee, it's a good time to do that too. And on this one, I know these candidates won't mind me saying on this one, I'm not encouraging you to so much pray for a cause or a party or a candidate. You know, in these divided times in the life of our nation, I encourage you to pray. Pray for all the people of Virginia. Pray for all the people of America. Because I believe with all my heart, I believe with all of my heart. I believe with all my heart those ancient words that Americans have clung to in much more challenging and difficult times than we could ever imagine are still true today. That if His people who are called by His name will humble themselves and pray, He'll do like He's always done in the long and storied history of this great nation. He'll hear from heaven and He'll heal this land. This one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So pray. And I'm absolutely convinced if all of us do all that we can to work like it all depended on us and pray for all of our countrymen, all across Virginia, all across this country, that we're going to deliver a great victory. Not for a party, but for our nation. We're going to re-elect and elect men and women that are advancing the principles here in Virginia that are making this state more secure and more prosperous. And I'm absolutely convinced that when you re-elect Republican majorities in the Virginia Senate and the Virginia House of Delegates, with President Donald Trump in the White House, and with God's help, we're going to make Virginia more prosperous than you could possibly imagine. We're going to make America safer than ever before. And to borrow a phrase, we're going to keep America great. Let's go get it done, Virginia. Let's get this team reelected.